Alrighty. Hey, we back in here. We back in here. Gonna make a quick one. Gonna make a quick one. And let me get right to it. Right, the point. What is the point? Break in, break down, for the breakup. Hmm. Well, I'll say it like this. For many reasons, for me, yet the main one is clarity and understanding. Right? So, let me explain. Let me explain. Let me explain. Let me clarify some things, right? From start to finish. For all intents and purposes of me and my whole point and purpose of being here, right? So, from the beginning, as I say, as I've said, and as I show, what am I doing, right? Getting to the truth, finding the truth, understanding the truth, to understand the truth, to overstand the truth, right? And with time, over time, I'm still exploring the journey, right? And as it goes or has gone, information as I come from my own understanding of it, it's plentiful, right? And it's a little bit of everywhere. Look and you shall find, right? So, again, on a continuing exploration and journey, seeking to find the truth, you come to find platforms such as social media and apps, and again, the information, right? For me, you see what works. You listen. If it resonates, as I say, right? If it marinates in and starts to digest, and you begin to apply it, and it works, then yeah, it's gonna be beneficial, right? And so again, finding answers, finding truth, you gotta get the information. You gotta see if it resonates. And you gotta see if it works for you. You gotta apply it. You gotta allow the time and process of the procedure to be implemented, right? Like, you can't do something one day, or 2 days, or 3 days, or even a week, or even a month, and know for sure, in my opinion, right? In my personal observation of things, sometimes it can be short, right? Sometimes you need to put a little more energy, a little more effort, a little more growth into a thing before you can confirm that something is for you or something's not for you, right? Especially when you're trying something new, when you're trying something that is different from what you're already normally doing, right? At least, again, in my opinion. So, rounding certain things up, getting to a point of a message here, right? I get to these platforms on social media, right? Get here on YouTube. I begin to uncover certain things, right? I begin to explore the very different looks or conversations, right? And as I was exploring, as I was beginning to tap into YouTube altogether, right? And for me, for me, certain things, right? Certain parts, certain channels. For me, I already knew things, right? I already knew the information. So, me being me, I'm still tapping into, I'm still listening, I'm still allowing certain things to digest as far as opinions go, right? Yeah, when it comes down to it, if I already know a thing, then I don't know, it's just me. I move on, right? I move on to find, as I said, more truth, right? If you already have uncovered certain truths for you, do you stay in the same spot or do you keep exploring? So, again, exploring, finding more of the truth. And what do you call that? What do you call that little saying? I thought it was kind of cute. Oh, yeah, digging deeper into the rabbit hole, right? So, yeah, I started digging deeper. And for me, just throwing it out there, started to get a little crazy. It started to get a little, hmm, okay, am I sure that I really want to go here? Am I sure I really want to continue this avenue, right? Just because, hey, for me, if I tap into something, I already have to know a certain aspect of what I'm getting into, let's say, before I can or will venture in further, if that makes sense. I gotta know my surroundings. I gotta know what I'm getting into before or when I'm on a deciding factor of exploring it, if that makes sense. So, again, coming across certain pages, certain information, and seeing certain things, I tapped out. Right? For me, I did not want it. I did not need it. I did not care for it. So, I don't know if you call it a coincidence or not, because hey, to each his own, but I don't know. Is something a coincidence or is it something else there? I don't know. That's what I think, right? I think certain things happen for a reason, and it usually is you that brings out or enforces the reason, right? Whether it's a thought, whether it's a goal, or whether it's your intentions to a thing, to a purpose, or to what you're doing. That's just how I see it, right? So when you continue to explore something, right, you have to figure out what you want to know, right? So that you yourself can be open to receiving it, right? Because sometimes it takes a minute to allow what you're receiving in the right way, if I'm making sense. So, again, exploring and finding out truth and finding out certain parts of missing pieces, right? Missing links, missing answers, missing questions, even that I wanted to know, that I needed to know. And for me, uh, when you go to what is given, such as, say, the head person in charge, right? Or the one who's responsible to help provide, help share, help learn what is needed to know, needed to learn, needed to absorb into your mind, into your thoughts, into your very being to bring in more growth, right? When you go to those people and you have questions and you have the confusion and you have the I'm missing certain things and can you help fill it in? Right? When you go to those people and you receive the answers, you receive the information, and you go based off of that, those answers, that information. And as you're going through life and investing into you and what you want, and certain things start to play out and certain things start to happen, do you not continue to find the solution, right? Do you stop, or do you say settle? Do you become comfortable with where you're at, right? Do you get tired, right? Does the pressure and frustration of trying and retrying and regrouping become too much that you just say, oh well, it is what it is? I found this much information. And I've gotten to this point, and I can be happy with this. I can be comfortable with this. I can be healthy with this state, right? If you have that, if you get to that point, if you are there, then by all means enjoy it, bask in it, and just allow yourself to continue to live, right? But for me, certain things are happening, certain things are still missing, right? Certain things were still left unsaid, certain things I needed to still find, still search for, and still uncover, if I'm making sense so far, right? So overall, that's a nutshell, right, of what I've been doing, right? Finding the truth, finding the answers to the missing pieces to me, my life, and my family, and why certain things are not, and how I can make it better, how I can help, how I can improve, how I can settle, right? Settle a certain anxiety, a certain sense of loss, a certain sense of I don't really know what it is, but I'm still doing it. And I'm going to call it something, even though I don't know what it is. And I'm just going to go with it because it still has a certain look or appearance to blend in, right? And for me, I just needed things to be better, right? And yeah, for the most part, I gotta say it, it's gonna be a struggle, right? It's gonna be a challenge. It's going to be, dare I say, an issue and a problem because when you come down to it, when you see it for what it is and you allow it to process, you gotta say it, right? Okay. I've been having issues, I've been having problems, I've been having trouble because the same people I'm getting information from or by are the same people that is happy with things the way that they are. If I'm making sense, right? And if a person doesn't want to change, do they change? If a person doesn't want something to improve because they're happy with it, won't they stay there? Won't they keep going? Won't they keep up the appearance, the responsibility, the control, the authority, the I'm gonna tell you what I want to tell you. I'm gonna tell you in the way that I want to tell you it, and I'm even going to bring in stories to help collaborate it. And because I know that I'm in a certain position of a certain pecking order of a certain a respect, right? Certain things, even though they're not true, even though they're not right, even though they're toxic and full of what is this, right? What can we call this instead of what it is, which is hurt, right? Which is pain, which is cover up, which is being sneaky, which is lying, which is I act like I'm here to help, but I'm really here to destroy, right? But you put on a fakeness, you put on a cover up, you put on a, well, you gotta respect what I say. You gotta allow the authority to be there, right? Why? Because I wanted my way. I needed my way. And one way or another, I'm gonna get it there, right? So, as I said before, right, how do you allow certain things to happen when you know it's not for you, right? How do you try to fix something or improve something or even add a different benefit, right? Add a different shine, add a different solution, add a different idea, add a different possibility, right? Why does that become a problem, right? And again, you gotta accept certain things for what it is. It becomes a problem when people don't want that change, when people don't feel that it's needed or wanted or even respected, right? So, within reason, right? Within reason to certain things, within reason to respect, right? Within reason to love, within reason to support and care and even family, right? You begin to see how much you really can do, right? When it comes down to it, you begin to really see how, okay, the more I'm helping or thinking that I'm helping and thinking I'm improving and thinking I can be a part of something yet have my own stance, my own truth, right? My own responsibility, my own authentic being authentic, right? That's what I want. I want to be me. I want to be authentically me. And over time, with just me exploring myself and the things I want and like and desire to do and have fun doing what brings me joy, right? It's not the same. It's not in the totality as everyone else, right? So, with respect to that, you gotta build on that, right? Okay, so I said all of that, right? A little brief. What is me, right? What I have been doing finding out my truth, finding out my place, right? And enjoying it, embracing it, and going all out, right? Because one of the things I found is some people will only go for so far or can only go so far because of limiting themselves, right? And with respect to any and everyone that we're around, right? Everyone can be an influence. Everyone can be impactful, can have a sway in direction to what we do, to what we think, to how we act, right? So, how do we mediate it? How do we say get along with the embracing of the world, yet continue to embrace ourselves and our trueness and our realness to really who we are, really what we're doing, really what we're here for, right? And again, as I always say, why should there be a limit to it? Why should there be a box to it? Why should there be it only can go a certain way or a certain level? Because let's say the way you look, right? Or because the neighborhood you come from, or type of clothes you wear, the way you talk, the words you use, right? The music you listen to, right? The food that you eat. There's certain things that's similar and different that we all have, right? Yet the opinions of how one is better than another should only be approved and clarified by that person, right? And not groups of people, no matter who they are, no matter if they're family or not, no matter if they're people you love or not, right? Who can say who you are or what you're doing or what you need to do or your purpose for being better than you? At least that's my opinion. At least that's how I've learned through life, through living my life, right? People have opinions. People always have had opinions about me. And granted, for the most part, I'll ignore it because do you really know me? Right? Do you really know who I am? Have you really walked in my shoes? Have you really been through the things I've been through? So when it comes down to it, everyone has their opinions. But it's up to you to show that person or those people who you really are, right? Which brings me to my next point. Involvement, right? Involvement with others, right? And taking another step, another layer, a deeper dive into exploring and finding out the truth, right? And as I said earlier, before I tap into a thing, I gotta observe my surroundings, right? I gotta know about a thing of what I'm getting into. Otherwise, why am I get into it? I've been there, done that. I tapped in, I tapped out, and no, thank you, right? I know what I don't want for sure, and if I see that, then why am I go to it? That's just common sense for me, right? So, again, taking it to another level and tapping in and involving me with others, right? Involving me, myself, my thoughts, my opinions, my presence with others on these social media platforms such as YouTube, right? Uh, it's been a interesting points of experience, right? And for lack of better words, it's it's one of those things you can only say like this, right? Well, you know. Like, just, yeah. When you know, right? And I don't know. I'm considering now, right? I'm considering it now. It's become a question to consider, possibly even concern, right? But for the most part, I know me, right? I know my life. And I know how easy one can presume to assume who a person is, what a person is really representing or bringing or even just saying, right? I know how it gets complex and complicated for me. So, I don't know, was I wrong? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I was trying simply to find a way for me to help others, I'll say, right? And so the involvement began, the conversations began, the interactions began, and for the most part, everything always starts off cool, right? Everything always begins with the smile and the hug and the peace and love, right? And for the most part, over time, I always ask and say and try to remind people, right? Be yourself, right? Be you. And if anything, when you're around me, you honestly and sincerely don't have to fake it. Be naturally you, right? Because again, the comfortableness and being you sincerely is really hard to find. Can we all be ourselves and be comfortable in our surroundings, right? I don't know. I know how it's been for me. So, in extending the, I'll say, courtesy of what I thought was a helping hand, right? Another way to see how to bring a solution to a problem, right? And that's one of the biggest things I know I can provide of advice. No matter what, no matter where. Yeah, you gotta be appropriate to setting, of course. Yet, even with that, be you. Be naturally you. Be sincerely you. And it out. Like, why hold back? Because over time, if you experienced it, then you know, right? Where does that leave you? Where does putting on a safety, right, of portraying a certain look or a certain intention when, come on, right? Sooner or later, the truth is going to come out. Let's just be honest, right? Let's just don't play with yourself. The truth is eventually going to come out one way or another, whether you like it or not. So why not just start off with the truth? Why not just start off with the honesty? Why not just start off with what it is that you really want to do or bring or provide or what it is you even have, right? So again, being involved with certain people, certain what I've come to find out is even considered communities of people, right? It's how can I say this? It leaves one to accept, right, that people really are going to be who they are, no matter what. And do you see it, right? And you gotta take what's being given, what's being shown, what's being said, and what's being done, right? And with time, for me, being involved with people, being interactive with people, and seeing how certain things can go, right? Whether you say something or you don't say something, right? And how words and even conversations can have one intent and purpose, yet how it can get destroyed by one, two, or a group of people's opinions of what they think it is or what they want it to be, right? And again, me being me knowing what I've been through, me knowing the challenges that I've faced and had to face and still face to this day, right? And just being who you are and just knowing how that can frustrate people, how that can irritate people, how that can bring out something that wasn't there, no matter what it is, right? And where does that go, right? What do you do to fix it? What do you do to change it, right? What do you do to bring the solution to the table and go forth and grow and still, as I would say, have your purpose, have your intentions, have your what you're trying to establish there, right? Whether it's person, whether it's a place, whether it's a message, whether it's a business, whether it's I just want to have a conversation and I want someone to listen to me, right? Because if we're again honest with certain things in life, right? People go through things. People lose things. People are finding out truths. People are uncovering secrets and agendas. And is it always what we think it was. Right? When it comes down to it, when we really analyze what is real in reality, right? Do we always have the clear picture, have the clear message, have the clear stance of what's truth, what's false, what's real, what's an illusion, what's really going on, right? And again, for me, and interacting and conversating and getting to know people, that was the whole point in the interaction, right? And for the most part, I'll say it, I'm not sure if my message, my intentions, my purpose for being was there, was noticed, was aware of, even, right? And again, with time, for me, the process of it, mm, I'd say for the most part, it was growing, right? For the most part, it was still establishing. It was still making a mark and stance, right? So when it comes down to certain points or certain, okay, am I missing something? What happened, right? Where did the disconnect come in? Hmm, I don't know about the next, right? But I can say for me, and I'm going to hopefully be clear with it, if that makes sense. A person can only do so much, right? A person can only take so much. And for me, for the most part, in general, as I keep repeating, right, there's a point and a purpose to me. And I say it. I want the truth. And I want the solutions, right? And so if I can help, if I can support, if I can bring out that message more and more for myself with my own growth, is it wrong to want to extend it in courtesy to another, right? So, by any means and all means, truth and solutions. I'm here, right? I'm here to bring out more truths. I'm here to bring out more solutions to life, right? There's no box, there's no limit, there's no category even that should go unnoticed. Life is life, and everyone's life is different. Everyone's experience is different. Everyone's purpose is different. Everyone's I'm currently at stage in life is different. So to keep a basic, to keep a let me help, where do you go with that? You gotta get to the seeds, right? You gotta get to the roots. You gotta help where help is needed, where help is wanted, right? Where help is going to be appreciated by everyone. So again, what do you do? Where do you go? how do you help if the help is not wanted, the help is not needed, right? And the only reason why I'm saying this in this way is because mm, levels, right? Everyone's at a different level. And being respectful to that and knowing that everyone is at their own level, I just gotta say it, right? I can only help so much if I see certain things happening, right? For instance, if my understanding of the message is bringing people together, right? Including everyone, right? And having a connection, having an embracement, almost as though we're family, right? I'm using certain words to clarify a message so there's no more misunderstandings, right? So I'm pausing and delaying for a reason. I want the message to be clear, right? But yeah, if that is what I'm hearing, right? Let's go with that. If that's what I'm hearing, the message is I want to bring people together. I want to help support people. I want to include people. I want to network with people. I want to build and establish friendships and relationships and have it grow and continue to its full capacity. Right? If I see and hear this, or I hear and see this, then I can be there, right? I can help in my own way, right? Whether it's help bringing out more truth to it or help with bringing more solutions, right? Whether or whatever way I can, right? In whatever way that's needed, right? But at the same time, for me, there's certain things I won't deal with. Let's put it that way. Let me say it like that. There's certain things I won't deal with, right? There's certain things I won't tolerate, right? And there's certain things I won't compromise with, even, right? And I began to find myself drifting into it. I began to see the impact, if that makes sense. But let me explain a little, right? Let me go into a little detail of what I'm saying. Okay, again, bringing it back to the points, right? If I see and I hear a message which says, I'm here to embrace, I'm here to show love, I'm here to show support, I'm here to help, right? And I'm so involved in it that I'm willing to take it to levels of personalizing, right? And making the awareness that my arms are open, the door is open, the foot into my real life is open, right? If that is being shown and seen, I don't understand where all the headaches, where all the confusion, where all the arguments and all the fights and all the what the hell is going on, right? Again, this is my point of reason of certain things I won't do or tolerate, right? Or even compromise. But I found myself doing it on here, right? Because I'm me, for lack of a better word, right? And I want to be helpful. I want to be supportive. I want to bridge a gap where it's needed, right? And whatever way I can, whether it's in communication or clarifying communication, right? Or helping bring a solution to a problem, right? Whether it's how to love yourself, right? Or what foods are beneficial for you, right? What fruits are beneficial for you? What information is needed so you can open a business or start a plan to have your own bank, right? And have your own resources, have your own foundations, right? Owning something, right? If certain things are needed and certain hiccups are still there, for me, if I know how to do it or if I know the person that does, right? I want to be there to help, to show, to bridge the gap, if that makes sense. But at the same time, for me, knowing me, right? Knowing how having conversations with people, right, will connect me to people. And if I'm connected to a person, I care about a person, right? I care about them and what they're going through and what they're dealing with. And like I say, if I start something, I want to finish it, right? So at certain times, certain things I didn't want to be around, let's say. Or certain times I just didn't want to deal with topics of conversations, right? I didn't want to stay in negativity, right? And I've heard, and I can still deal with that. And as some people would say, my real time, my real life, right? Life outside of the screen, right? If I'm on negativity, I can deal with that over here, right? I don't need it or want it or feel like I should tolerate it, right? And at certain times, in certain ways, the energy was there of negativity, right? Of we're still stuck on, can I say the low grade, right? Can I say the pointless? Can I say the just a disrespectful, right? Just degrading, the unnecessary, right? The talking shit, the stereotyping, the clowning, right? If people deal with this in, again, real time, off screen, right? Why should people deal with this on screen, right? On platforms where so much can be done, so much can be established, so much can be prepared, right? And connected and brought into incorporate so much. Yet at certain times, at least in certain parts of communities that I was involved in, right? That I was sharing my time and energy with, right? It just, I don't want to deal with that again. I don't want to deal with the same things that I've dealt with in my real life, right? And this is why, because I know where it's going to go, right? I know where it leads to, right? I know what happens. And hey, I'm going to be honest. When it was my family, I can get a little bit more in your face, so to speak. I can get and have a sense of, okay, I can say something because I actually have a role in it, right? I'm a part of my family, right? We blood, okay? So yeah, there's respect there. To I can say some things, I can correct some things, right? I can get out of bounds, for lack of a better word, when it comes to saying certain things straight up in your face of what it is and what needs to stop, right? I can say that with my family. I can even say that with those that I've considered close personal friends, acquaintances, whatever, right? But when you're just beginning to know, to learn someone, you gotta keep respect there. You don't know me, I don't know you. I can suggest, I can raise a hand and say, hey, hold up. Can I say something real quick? Can I throw a suggestion in there? Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question real quick. Hold up, hold up. Hold on. Let me ask a question real quick. Right? Just hold up. I can do that. I can do that. Right? Because, again, for the simple fact, you don't know me, I don't know you. But I keep a respect there. Right? And, again, when you know a thing, you know what it is. You know where it can go. Right? And I've seen the disrespect. I've heard the disrespect. I've observed the disrespect. And no, thank you. I'm not going there. I mean, it's not gonna happen. Nope. Mm-mm. Sorry. But not sorry. I ain't gonna take it there. Why? Because, to be honest, it's not that serious. right? It's really not that serious. For me, it's really not that serious. There's no need or reason for me to get disrespectful with you. All I gotta do is turn off my phone. All I gotta do is turn off my computer. And the problem's solved. I'm just saying. It's, it's simple for me, right? Yet, and again, where does that go? Right? Where does the back and forth, the disrespect and dragging and talking about somebody and wanting to implicate that someone's better because of their race and their color or where they live or if they only had one parent or if they have multiple. Let me stop. Let me because I'm gonna start saying some things. Let me hold up. Let me hold up. Right, but again, the disrespect is there. Right, I see. And why? Why does this continue to happen, right? Why does this continue to be looped around and where is this going? Right? What's the point? If you think a way about you, right? If you feel a way about you, okay, that's fair. That's respect. Yet I don't know, it's just I don't understand how one can trash, can disregard, and make it obvious, make it in your face, make it so clear, yet at the same time, right, they want to, I don't know, paint another picture of bringing in people, right, and having a comfortable space and togetherness. Right, and I'm just talking about overall in general of what I've seen and the people that I've been around and the different communities, right? I don't get it. You know, I don't get the one on one side you show the happy face and you show the hugs and you show the kisses, but then say one word, right? Say or don't do something, right? Have a mistake, right? Or have a bad day. And the disrespect, the tearing down, the I gotta control certain things now because I don't know. What is it? Again, I'm asking what is it that people are really saying? People are really showing. Right? And then you draw the conclusions for yourself. Okay, like what is this? Right? How do you go from 1 minute being happy and saying, I know what it is like to be separate and not have a togetherness, a support group, and I want to take the initiative to be that help, to be that togetherness, to be that support group. And then you have the people come in, right? You begin to bring in the people so that the help can happen, so that the support is there. But then you got the other side of it, right? You got the sneakiness, the side talks, the disrespect, the talking down to people. And it's like, okay, well, why do people want to help? Why do people want to share? Why do people want to support them? Why would they? Right? If 1 minute you're going to smile and then the next minute you're going to talk down to them. Why do people want that? Why do people need that? Why would people want us to stay around that? Right? And then when nothing's said in a responsible way where it's like, okay, look, we all adults. We need to get some order. We need to get some structure. And if that can happen, then certain things need to be stopped until they can, right? And when that is not set and things just keep going out of control, right? No control, none at all. And then again, you just have the talks. You just have the disrespect just keep going and going and going. And now it's becoming like a sideshow, right? Now it's becoming like a joke. Now it's more like, okay, what is this really? So again, when for me, when you step back and you see certain things and you look at the picture, right? For me, I had to ask the question, am I helping the situation? Right? Am I bringing some type of order, some type of solution, some type of truth, some type of benefit? Right? And I gotta ask and answer those questions for myself, right? And if I go from knowing to not knowing, then things are different now, right? Like at first I went from, okay, I know what I'm doing here and I know I'm making an impact and I know I'm bringing solutions and I know I'm helpful, I'm resourceful, I'm doing something that I said was my point of purpose. But then when that starts to change, right? When certain things are going on that I don't want, don't like, don't approve of, right? I don't tolerate, right? I got certain things out of my personal life for certain reasons, right? And granted, as I said, I want to help the next person. So, yeah, after interacting and connecting with people, right, I began to care for people. I began to understand to understand people, right? And then I began to understand the message. So, of course, my point of purpose became clear, right? And I'm going to help in every way, in all ways that I can, right? And again, that's what I thought was going on, right? Again, that's what I thought was happening, right? But when you see a thing begin to change, and that changes in a direction that you don't want, don't need, and you know you're not going to tolerate, and haven't been tolerating again in your real life, you gotta ask the questions. How much are you going to tolerate now? Right? And you give the benefit of the doubt of the difference in everybody, and you give room for space. You give room for chance. You give room for opportunity. You give room because you know that people have real life, right? And you know there's the bad days, and you know there's the I just can't get it right, and I'm trying, but I'm going through things, and I'm running around because I'm helping everyone, and the more I help, the more I'm getting drained, right? And I just want that peace. I just want that break. I just want that. I want to have fun, right? Getting and knowing that is there, right? I I gave the pause, right? I gave the okay. Let certain things digest. Let certain things marinate. Let certain things just unfold. so to speak, at the right time, at the right place, and the right purpose, right? Because you can't force no one. I know this for sure. No one is going to do anything that they're not or they don't want to do. And if you force it, yeah, it might be able to happen, but watch how it unfolds, right? I'm just saying. I've been there, I've done that, and I've seen it a couple of times. So, no, for me, I don't force nobody to do nothing. I'm not going to do it. I'll give you the space, I'll give you the time, I'll give you the room to allow your growth, right? And maybe with time, in time, the right time, we can have that conversation. We can reignite certain things and keep certain movements going, right? But if that change is still in a direction that, like I said, you're not going to deal with, right? You're not going to tolerate, and you have to make some deciding factors, right? And what sucks is, for me, the connections, right? Because at least on my end, there were people that I enjoyed, right? The vibe was cool, right? The vibe was, hey, I could kick it, right? Because I think the understanding is there, right? So at certain points, at certain times, it can be like, say less. You ain't gotta say more because I already know what it is, right? But yeah, when, again, for me, when certain things keep happening, and the main thing is disrespect, right? I'm not gonna take disrespect. I'm not gonna take disrespect for me. Likewise, I'm not gonna take disrespect for someone else. And if I see disrespect, I'm gonna say something, right? But again, you have to respect that space of, even if you want to be that person, right? To say something to help improve, or even say something in stance for someone. Maybe you're not the right person, right? Maybe they don't want it from you or need it from you. So, again, giving clarity to myself, allowing a certain thing to transgress, right? I had to do what was best for me. And for the most part, that's where it is now, right? That's why in certain areas on YouTube, I don't intermingle with anymore, right? Because it became a question. What am I really doing here? What is the point of me being here anymore, right? Is what I'm doing a benefit to the totality of what's going on, right? And yeah, people can say things, and yeah, right, the support, at least on my end, was always there. But again, if I begin to question it, and that question is, am I still of benefit, right? And I don't see it anymore, I don't feel it anymore, then yeah, as I said on my earlier video yesterday or the day before, right? If I don't have no benefit, no purpose, if I'm not bringing no solution to a thing, then I'm going to appreciate and respect that my time is up, right? And I'm going to continue to move and to grow with what my original stance was, right? That I'm finding the truth and I'm bringing solutions. And I'm going to continue to go and to be where I see is of benefit, if I'm making sense. Because, again, certain things that I've been through now on YouTube with being in certain places and having conversations with people and building things with people and starting certain, what I thought, right, was supposed to be a whole network, right? Yet, again, if I start to question certain things and what's being said is not being shown anymore, right? And now you see a difference in the energy, right? You see how certain people aren't communicating, aren't saying or bringing the same energy that they once did, right? And hey, for the most part, you speak up and you ask and you announce it, right? And you say, hey, I know I'm going through some things, can't really explain, and I haven't really explained, right? At a time and the right place, I will. Yet, that aside, is there anything that I've done wrong, right? Have I said something? Have I done something to cause issue, to cause a reason to not like what I'm bringing, right? Am I not doing enough, right? Am I not doing it in a way that's needed or wanted, right? What's the problem? What's the issue? What's the reason for the switch up, right? And when you ask those things and you get the same answer, right? You get the same answer. You get the, no, nothing's wrong. You didn't do nothing. Nope, not at all. I don't know what you're talking about. Um, Everything's fine. No, you're good. We good, right? Yet again, for me, if certain things are said, yet the feeling ain't there, right? The vibe ain't there no more. The sway is noticeable, right? And you take the time, you take the space, and you, as I would do, take accountability, right? That maybe I've done something wrong. Maybe I've represented myself in a way that was rude, disrespectful, or hey, it's no longer wanted, right? But again, when that's asked and respected for being said, right? But again, the energy is different, right? You see the difference in how now people aren't saying certain things anymore, right? And it seems as though as soon as you come into, as soon as you tap in, as soon as you jump in the chat, or as soon as you jump on the panel, then it's kind of like, oh, well, now I can't say nothing anymore, or now the conversation's got to get switched up, or um, there's just a whole disconnect as if I don't even see you. I don't even acknowledge you. I don't even know you was there. Well, if that happens, right, or you even got the, what I would assume, right, is the side jokes, the remarks as though someone knows something that I don't know, right? When that kind of energy gets there, it's like, okay, you know what? I asked the questions, right? I gave the time, I gave the space, I gave the opportunity, right? And when it comes out to the points of what it is, right? I gotta handle the situation as I see best, right? And as I said, there's a sadness there, right, for me because at one point in time I thought there was something, right? I thought there was a building and growing of something, right? And if it changed, I'll take fault. I say it all the time. I always will take fault. Maybe I've done something wrong, right? And maybe you not saying nothing, right? Maybe you're just trying to be, I don't know, nice, or you're trying to meet me where I'm at, right? But if certain things aren't communicated, then how do you know? And then if certain questions are asked and it keeps being as though nothing's wrong, yet again, the energy is different. What do you do with that? Where do you take it, right? Because for the most part, there's no problems. I don't have a problem with no one. So where does the switch up come from? Where did the change in the energy go? Right? Why did the okay, I was here, but now I'm not here when I'm around, but when I'm not around, you're here. Right? So yeah, when you see certain things, it's like okay, you gotta respect it for what it is. Maybe it's me, right? Maybe I said something, maybe I did something, or maybe it's just me in general. Maybe I'm not welcome, right? And maybe that's the nice way, right? I'm not gonna say that I have a problem with you, yet I'm going to show it in the energy, right? Because I don't know. Maybe I want the support still, yet I don't necessarily want it from you, but I'll take it as long as it's given. I don't know, right? Now I'm questioning things. Now I'm throwing thoughts out there. What is really going on? What really happened? Where is the disconnect, right? And yeah, you can put out assumptions. You can throw out assumptions. You can throw out what it could be, right? And when that comes, for me, when that comes out, when I begin to throw out my own assumptions of what I think could be wrong, right? Since I'm not getting answers clearly, then I have to throw out my own assumption. And I have to take it for what I see it as, right? And I can respect it. I can respect that maybe I make the situation uncomfortable, right? Maybe I make certain people feel uneasy, right? Maybe certain people are mm, set in certain ways, for lack of a better word. And then, yeah, the issue is they don't want to say it. So, with respect to certain things, respect to everyone, right? Respect to the fact that, again, as I said, if I'm not helping the situation, if I'm not bringing some type of solution to the problem, If I'm not of benefit, then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna disappear. I'm not going to be around anymore, right? And hence why I am, as I say, rock this solo bolo dolo, right? Because again, I understand that I make certain people uncomfortable, right? Certain people will not and don't like me. And it's a conglomerate of reasons. And that's fine. That's respect. I get it. I got it. I understand. Right? So, again, what do you do in certain situations where you make those acquaintances and you make those connections, right? And for the most part, it's fine, it's good, it's great, right? And the growth is there. Yet when you look at certain things and you hear certain things and you see that there's, okay, when I'm around, certain things aren't being said, certain interactions aren't being done, yet when I'm not around, it's happening. The connections are there, the communications are there, the people pop back up, pop back around and connect and talk, and the energy is calm and the energy is smooth and the energy is peaceful, right? When you see that and you see that happening and you, again, repeating it, right? You ask the questions and you get certain answers, but again, the energy is not matching, right? You have to respect the situation. You have to respect the energy. You have to respect the importance of the matter. And yeah, for the most part, I do see the message. I see a lot of messages on these platforms in these communities with the channels, with the people that I've met, that I've had the chance to interact with and talk to, and for the most part, get to know a side of, right? Get to know a side of their story, of where they come from, of what they come through, what they've been challenged with and overcame, and how they can see a way for them to bring another light, another solution to their everyday life. And then, right, maximize it by allowing it to manifest in a multitude of ways, right? Hence the platforms, right? The YouTube platforms, the social media platforms. I mean, what is the point? Why do we have these? Why are we networking? Why are we sharing? Why are we here? Right? So, again, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do in situations such as this? Right? And for me, it's been a struggle. It's been a challenge to overcome because, yeah, on one side, I have made personal connections with people, right? I have shared and built with people, and some I even allowed a more personal, in depth, behind the scenes um glance, I'll say, into my real life. And the overwhelmingness of it all is still yet to be described, right? Because I can't describe it in totality because it's hard to describe for me, right? Yet at the same time, the challenge on overcoming the balance, right? For me, I'm balancing it out. The connections that I made with people and dealing with the energy that I feel around, right? The energy that I know is around, right? And how, and wonder and question if I'm still of benefit, right? Because I know that people have connections and made connections with people on here, right? And for the most part, I'm more of a newer wave, right? I'm more of a newer pop up, so to speak. So, yeah, how do you balance out your place, right? When you see that on one side you can be great, right? And share and build and have a vibe and have an energy that's just continuing in growth. But on the other side, you have those that don't agree, cannot get along, cannot intermingle for whatever reasons, right? And hmm, what if the merger is there, right? What if both sides are getting merged together, right? And for me, that's what was happening. Both sides was getting merged together. You have those that don't seem to have a problem with me, and then you have those that do seem to have a problem with me. And how do you find the balance? How do you bring the solution? How do you fix it, right? When again you see it can start off cool and great, yet certain things happen, right? Certain things are not continuing. And when you see it and you ask, and again, it's not clarified through action, right? Because you see something different. And that's the best way to say it. So, yeah, for the most part, I have to bring the solution in the best way I know how, right? And the best way I know how is I gotta take me out of it. I just have to take me out of it and allow the flow to go, right? And eventually, with time, perhaps a continuance can happen, right? And a reintroduction can unfold, right? And more growth and more conversations and more togetherness can happen. Yet, that's where I'm at with it, right? I'm at a balancing, right? Because there was a definite merger. And for the most part, this is how I know best, right? When I see a thing and it's obvious for me, right? And this is where, again, the challenge is coming in. The connections that I've made with those that sincerely don't have a problem with me, right? And are curious to why I'm not around or haven't been around or wondering where I'm even at, right? And then you get to a point of where do you take it, right? Do you make certain people uncomfortable because you do pop back up and you want to reconnect with certain people and establish a more in-depth breakdown of what's been going on and why the disconnect and why the disappearance, and to make things easy, right? You have to make certain people uncomfortable. And to me, that's an issue. So until I figure out the solution, this is where I'm at, right? This is where I have to be at. I have to get to a point of maybe accepting or allowing an uncomfortableness to be there, right? And just allowing certain things to flow and getting and keeping my growth with those that I've interacted with and started something with to just continue and say, well, if there's people that's around that's uncomfortable or don't like me or being around or don't like the vibe or energy that I have, well, they just have to deal with it, right? Because for the most part, I'm comfortable, I'm growing, I'm making certain things happen. I don't know. I don't know how to do that, right? And I even to a point was doing that still, right? And it gotten more hectic on my end, right? I'm going through more roadblocks, more issues, more problems, right? Now I got more people harassing me, right? Now I got more people following me, right? Now I got more people tapping into my phones and erasing things and deleting videos, and it's like, you get to a point where you gotta say, okay, enough is enough, right? And I gotta keep my peace, right? I gotta keep my sense of me, right? Because you get to a point of you don't even know no more, and there's confusion and people are saying things, but you don't know if it's honest, you don't know if it's real, because again, one person says one thing but then you see another thing, or you hear a thing and the vibe is a different way, right? The talks, right? The words that are being used, it's like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Are you hinting at something? Are you talking about me? I don't know. Let me ask. And when you do, you don't get it. You still don't get it. You still don't get the understanding of what's been happening. So you find yourself at a point where you say, you know what, I have to give up. I have to give in. All right, and I just have to break up, and I just have to break out, and I just have to continue doing what I've been doing, right? Which is elevating me, which is finding more ways to embrace the unlimitedness of myself and the multitude that I can tap into, right? And hopefully with time, hopefully with space, hopefully hopefully, right, with opportunity, the solutions to how do you balance certain things out, right? How do you balance out certain connections and certain disconnections, right? How do you balance out certain growth, and how do you deal with certain unpluckings, right? How do you deal with tolerating certain things, even though you don't tolerate things, right? That you don't want to tolerate, and the possibility for tolerating it is the fact that there was that spark of growth, right? For me, that's how I am working out, bridging the gaps, right? So, at the end of the day, this is where I'm gonna shut up at, right? This is where I'm gonna cap it at, because certain things you just really gotta appreciate for what it is and where it's at, right? And yeah, so for all intents and reasons and purpose, if wanting to know, right? If the thought of wanting to know why or where have I been, I just said it, right? I've been in the background. I've been doing the same thing I've always said, which is learning new levels of me, right? Accepting new levels of me and embracing it. And when I find solutions, right, to how I can accept certain things with the balance that I've come into, right? Balancing out the connections that I made that were growing, and the other side where it wasn't really said, right? At least to me, yet it was always there in the energy, right? It was always hinted at. There was certain little side talks. I'm just gonna keep saying it. Certain little side talks is like, okay, you could say something to me, especially if it's about me, right? And people want to talk, people want to be funny, people want to play games, people want to be cute, and I don't get that. I don't get how a person has something to think or say about someone can take shots, take subliminals, yet I was there. You could have easily said it to me, right? If there's a problem with me, say it to me. Why do you have to take shots? Why do you have to throw subliminals, right? Why? What's the point of it? I said it. I'm not a child. I'm a grown ass woman over here. You got something to say? You don't like me? You don't like what I'm saying? You don't like what I'm doing? Go ahead and tell me. We can talk. We can have a conversation, right? But since, like I said, certain things wasn't direct to me, yet certain subliminals, certain hints, and certain shots were, yeah, I'm not, I don't, I don't need the headache. I don't want the headache, right? And that was definitely there, right? And how do you concentrate under pressure? How do you get a job done under stress, right? I know how to work, at least for me. I've done that plenty of times, right? But when you do it that way, the finished product, is it the best that it could have always been or should be, right? Because you are, or are you in the best that you can be, right? So anything that you do, anything that you bring forth is going to show and going to bring out because of the energy that you put into it, right? I don't know, that's just me. So yeah, for the most part, again, I don't know how to do that, right? I exited out of my life because I didn't want to do it. Didn't want to tolerate it. I didn't want to be around disrespect. I didn't want to be around stupidity. I didn't want to be around people who couldn't say something directly to me, right? And because of that, again, I tried to sustain a comfortableness within me overall to just say fuck it and I don't care. I'm still going to do my purpose. I'm still going to put in my energy, put in my time, and grow the connections that are there with no problem, right? That are there with ease. Yet the jumble of confusion I began to feel, right? Because I found myself becoming hypocritical, right? And it was when I asked myself the question, why, right? Is because I was making connections, right? And I was starting certain processes up. And I wanted to keep it. Like I say, I started and I finished. But again, now, right now, going through everything that I have been thus far, I have to go back to my peace, right? And I have to go back to balancing out me. And I have to keep pushing what I've been already doing out, right? And like I said, hopefully with time and space and opportunity, right? Given those that I have made those connections with and they were genuine and the care and the support was there, right? Hopefully it can continue. But for now, I have to be at peace. I have to be at my peace. And I have to balance certain things out again, right? So, for all those that want to know, need to know, or care to know, that's where I've been. That's why I have been MIA and why I got to be, at least for the most part. Yet and still, I'm here, right? I ain't went nowhere. I haven't left. I've been in the background. I've been tuning in. I've been still seeing the growth, still seeing the process. And all I can say is keep going, right? Keep grinding, keep up that spark, keep up that motivation, keep up that dedication, right? And when you know, right? And time is precious, and time waits on no one, right? So keep doing you, keep bringing out you, keep elevating you, keep knowing you, keep learning you, and keep allowing you to inspire the next, so that at the end of the day, when we look back and we see what was done, what was said, what happened, growth, life, care, support, love, respect was there, was built, was felt, was dedicated to, and was brought forth in a evoluting momentum of a wave. But I don't know. I need to hush, and I'm gonna leave it with that, right? So again, much love to everyone. Much love and respect. Much love, respect, and peace, right? And as I always say, remember that self-love is that best love. And that self-love is that self-growing and that self-healing. So let's go out and learn to love self because we know self. And until the next time, I'll be back. Peace.